bodywork. I love the SV650, but one of the things that always annoyed me was the bodywork options. You guys will know that for like a second gen SV, some of the only, well, really the only options is stuff that looks like this. And it just doesn't look like a sport bike. I want my race bike to look badass and like a new sport bike. My first season of racing, this annoyed me, so I raced the SV naked, just like this, with a belly pan bolted on the bottom. We got along fine doing that. And then the next season, I wanted to spice the bike up, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna take on a project and make this look awesome. The big project I wanted to do was put Triumph 675 bodywork on the SV, on the naked SV. This sucked because you have to trim a bunch of the bodywork off so that the handlebars can turn all the way. You have to make a custom subframe because the SV one is too big to put the Triumph tail on. You have to make a custom fairing stay, and I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. I needed friends to help me with all this, and welding and blah 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 blah, and drilling holes and making the bodywork fit and making brackets, and it just is a ton of work. Now the bike ended up looking really badass, but if it was ever crashed, it would suck because all the parts are custom. You couldn't just throw on another set of bodywork. It really stinks, so would not recommend. So then eventually I sold the Triumph SV650 and got this SV with normal bodywork, which looks fine. It looks like every other SV. They all kind of just look like SVs. They don't really look like sport bikes. You know what I mean. And then I found out that Chris Parrish, the 2018 Moto America Twins Cup champion, was making his own bodywork. And if you know anything about Moto America, if you know anything about SV650s, you'll know the name Chris Parrish. He's got a bunch of really trick SVs. He's stupid fast on an SV650, and he makes this bodywork in his shop, and it looks great. And I finally pulled the trigger and bought a super bike tail from him for the 2021 endurance bike, and it's great. It puts you up higher than a normal SV seat, and you're bolted right to the frame of the bike basically, so you feel a lot more of what the bike is doing, and it just feels like a race bike having a super bike tail like this. And I was super impressed, super happy with the tail. At the end of 2021, we had a little tip over, and I decided to hit up Chris and get a set of bodywork from him. So let's go out in the garage and take a look at what it looks like. Ooh! So I'll let you soak that in. I think it looks badass. Definitely the best looking bodywork I've seen for an SV. So, what's included in the kit? You just call Mr. Chris at Ghetto Customs. You get a tail, lower, upper, fender. He makes this fender and then a Moto 2 style fender. And he will sell you 2 brackets that bolt under the tank and will mount your bodywork here. And there's one on the other side. He'll also sell you this bracket to hold the belly pan on. It bolts into the kickstand mount. Drill your own hole in the bodywork and your own hole in the bracket. And then I just tapped some threads into that hole, so this threads right into that. And that's not hard to do. You can find YouTube videos how to put a tap into a bracket. You'll have to drill your own holes for the Zeus fasteners. I did that just getting ready for the fasteners to go in. And then he'll also sell you a fairing stay for the front. So you literally don't have to worry about anything. You just buy the kit from Chris and everything should bolt right up. Now, there is one other thing to note about the tail. So the tail, you'll have to drill, there's a hole here, a hole here. Then you'll have to drill these 2 holes to mount onto the subframe. And one thing is you will have to, let me get this off. Please hold. All right. One other thing, you will have to, as this guy comes off, goes in the box. you will have to cut part of the subframe off. So the stock subframe comes out and goes to, I don't know, maybe about here or something. You will have to take a hacksaw or a sawzall or something and cut this shorter so the body will fit. But the holes are already here. You just drill holes in the tail. They'll thread right into the OEM holes on the subframe. And the other one goes into this hole on the subframe. But yeah, super badass. I'm happy with everything and can't wait to let her rip. I know you didn't need to hear everything I had to say about old SVs that I had. My point was just that the whole time I've been racing an SV, which is 6-7 years, I've been annoyed that there's not badass bodywork that just bolts up to the bike. And Chris really makes that possible with the Ghetto Customs kit. You buy the tail, you buy the upper, the lower, the fairing stay, the brackets, you just get everything you need. It's just, it makes it super easy, it looks great, and it's made in America. You're helping out a racer. Money's going back into the sport, and if you got an SV, I don't know why you wouldn't use this stuff. That's all I have to say. Dairyboys.